Welcome, friends, to another episode of Pingu in Antarctica. Pingu the Penguin woke up. The sun was shining. It was a beautiful day. Pingu wanted to go on an adventure. He waddled outside his igloo. Pingu looked around. Everything was covered in white snow. It sparkled in the sunlight. Pingu felt very happy. He loved Antarctica. Pingu decided to visit his friend, Robbie the seal. Robbie lived on a big iceberg. It was a long way away, but Pingu didn't mind. He loved to slide on his belly. Pingu slid down a snowy hill. Whee! It was so much fun! He went faster and faster. Pingu laughed out loud. Suddenly, Pingu crashed into something soft. Oof! He fell over. What was it? Pingu looked up. It was a giant snowball. Pingu had rolled into his own adventure. He had made a giant snowball by accident. It was even bigger than his igloo. Pingu smiled. This was going to be a fun day. Pingu rolled the giant snowball. He rolled it and rolled it. It was hard work. Pingu needed help. Just then, Pingu's little sister, Pinga, arrived. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I'm building a snowman," said Pingu. Pinga helped Pingu roll the snowball. They made it even bigger. Then they found some sticks for arms. They used a carrot for the nose. Finally, they gave the snowman a big smile. Pingu and Pinga admired their snowman. It was the biggest snowman ever. Suddenly, they heard a loud splash. They turned around. It was a giant whale. It had come up for air. The whale was so big, Pingu and Pinga had never seen anything like it. The whale smiled at Pingu and Pinga. "Hello," it said. Pingu and Pinga were amazed. The whale could talk. Section 5. Lost in the Snowdrifts. The snow-covered landscape stretched as far as the eye could see, a vast expanse of white that seemed to blend seamlessly with the sky. The air was crisp and cold, and the silence was only broken by the occasional gust of wind that sent flurries of snow dancing through the air. Suddenly, a large shape broke the surface of the icy water. It was a whale, its massive body glistening in the cold sea. The whale introduced itself. "My name is Willie," it said in a deep, friendly voice that echoed across the frozen landscape. Nearby, two little penguins named Pingu and Pinga were playing in the snow. They were building a snowman and having a great time. When they heard Willie's voice, they stopped what they were doing and looked up in surprise. "Do you want to go for a ride?" Willie asked. Pingu and Pinga were so excited. They had never ridden on a whale before. They quickly climbed onto Willie's back, their little flippers gripping tightly to his smooth skin. Willie swam through the icy water, his powerful tail propelling them forward with ease. The cold wind whipped past their faces, but they didn't mind. They were having the adventure of a lifetime. It was a bumpy ride. The waves were high and choppy, and Pingu and Pinga had to hold on tight to avoid being thrown off. They laughed and squealed with delight as Willie navigated the rough waters, their excitement growing with each passing moment. Willie playfully splashed them with water, sending sparkling droplets flying through the air. Pingu and Pinga laughed even harder, their joy echoing across the icy landscape. They had never felt so alive, so free. As Willie swam further and further away from the shore, Pingu and Pinga didn't notice. They were too busy enjoying the ride, their eyes wide with wonder as they took in the breathtaking scenery around them. The vast, icy ocean stretched out before them, a never-ending expanse of blue and white. They were having too much fun. The thrill of the adventure had completely taken over, and they didn't realize how far they had gone. Soon, they couldn't see their snowman anymore. The familiar landmarks of their home were lost in the distance, swallowed up by the endless snowdrifts. But Pingu and Pinga didn't mind. They were on an unforgettable journey, and they knew that as long as they were with Willie, they were safe. Willie finally stopped. This was fun! He had been sliding on the ice for what felt like hours, enjoying the crisp, cold air and the smooth, slippery surface beneath him. The sun was shining brightly, making the snow sparkle like a million tiny diamonds. Willie loved days like this, where he could play and forget all his worries. He said, "But I have to go now." He waved his flipper at his friends who were still playing in the distance. "See you later," he called out, his voice echoing across the icy landscape. Willie knew he had to get back home before it got too late. The Antarctic nights could be harsh and unforgiving. Pingu and Pinga looked around. They were surrounded by tall snowdrifts. The wind had picked up, and the once clear path was now obscured by the swirling snow. They had been so engrossed in their game that they hadn't noticed the change in weather. Now everything looked the same, and they couldn't tell which way was home. They were lost. Pingu and Pinga started to feel scared. The snowstorm was getting worse, and the temperature was dropping rapidly. They huddled together for warmth, their little hearts beating fast with fear. "What are we going to do?" Pinga whispered, her voice trembling. They didn't know how to get home. Just then, they heard a familiar sound. It was faint at first, but it grew louder and more distinct. "Note! Note!" The sound was like music to their ears. They looked at each other with hope in their eyes. Could it be? Newt! Newt! It was Robbie the seal. Robbie was their friend, always ready to lend a helping flipper. He had a knack for finding his way through the snow, no matter how bad the storm. Pingu and Pinga felt a surge of relief wash over them. Robbie had heard Pingu and Pinga's calls. He had come to find them. "Don't worry, friends," Robbie said with a reassuring smile. "I know the way back home." He led the way, his sleek body cutting through the snow with ease. Pingu and Pinga followed closely, their fear slowly melting away. Robbie knew the way back home. Pingu and Pinga were so happy to see their friend. They chatted excitedly as they walked, their spirits lifting with each step. The snowstorm began to ease, and soon they could see the familiar outline of their home in the distance. Thanks to Robbie, they were safe and sound. Robbie led Pingu and Pinga back to their igloo. Pingu's parents were very relieved to see them. They had been worried sick. Pingu and Pinga told everyone about their adventure. Pingu's mom made a delicious fish dinner. Pingu, Pinga, and Robbie ate until they were full. They laughed and talked about their day. Pingu was grateful for his friends and family. He had learned that it's important to stick together and to always tell someone where you're going. After dinner, everyone went outside. The sky was clear and dark. Suddenly, the sky lit up with beautiful colors. It was the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights danced across the sky. They were green, pink, and purple. Pingu and his friends watched in amazement. It was a magical sight. Pingu had never seen anything so beautiful. He knew he would never forget this day. It was the best adventure ever. Pingu went back inside his cozy igloo. The cold wind outside had made his cheeks rosy, and he was ready to unwind after a day full of excitement. The igloo, with its familiar warmth, felt like a sanctuary from the icy world outside. He was tired but happy. The adventures of the day had filled his heart with joy. He had slid down icy slopes, played with his friends, and even discovered a hidden cave filled with sparkling icicles. He snuggled into his bed of soft snow. The snow felt like a fluffy blanket, wrapping him in comfort. As he lay there, he could still hear the distant sounds of the Antarctic wilderness, a soothing lullaby that promised sweet dreams. He closed his eyes and thought about his adventure. The images of the day played like a movie in his mind. He remembered the laughter, the thrill of discovery, and the beauty of the icy landscape. Pingu dreamed of giant snowballs, talking whales, and colorful lights. In his dreams, the snowballs were as big as mountains, the whales sang songs of the deep, and the aurora lights painted the sky with magical hues. He couldn't wait for his next adventure. The thought of what tomorrow might bring filled him with excitement. Would he find a new friend? Discover another hidden gem in the ice? The possibilities were endless. But for now, it was time to sleep. His little body needed rest to recharge for the adventures that awaited. The igloo was quiet, and the only sound was the gentle breathing of Pingu as he settled down. Pingu drifted off to sleep. His dreams were filled with the wonders of the Antarctic, a place where every day was a new adventure. He knew that sleep was just another part of the journey, a time to dream and imagine. He knew that even in Antarctica, there were always new and exciting things to discover. The vast, icy expanse was a playground for the curious and the brave. Every corner held a new secret, every day a new story. There were always new and exciting things to discover. The world was full of wonders, and Pingu was determined to uncover them all. His heart was full of curiosity and his spirit full of adventure. All he had to do was open his eyes and look around. The beauty of the Antarctic was always there, waiting to be explored. And Pingu knew that with each new day, a new adventure awaited him. The end. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.